Hi, I'm Rochelle Wilson, and I do the voice of Sugar on Total Drama Island. And you best watch Josie on the Bois podcast. And if you don't, I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to hunt you down good, and I'm going to squeeze your hand until it pops like a zip. That's right.
Stop your fidgeting! You scuff my pageant shoes and I'll toss you out the window! You'll be squished flat in 2 minutes! Oh, thank you! Thank you! I'm not prepared to make a speech, but I'm so proud to be crowned Miss... Oh! Crud! I love you, Grace Pig! I love you, Wizard!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bois Podcast. My guest today is an actress, voice actress, improviser, writer, and teacher. You may have seen her as Trina in Train 48, and you may have heard her voice as Sugar in the Total Drama series. So welcome, Miss Rochelle Wilson. Welcome, Rochelle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. So, Rochelle, what have you been up to? How are you doing? How's Rochelle doing?
Auditioning. And, you know, we finished at the end, they finished the production and they had this summer the Total Drama Rama, because I was really lucky in season 3. They decided to bring in 2 new characters, and it was Sugar and Lightning. So that was amazing because I got to do Sugar, but as a little Sugar. So, but I still had to audition for the part because I think when they took some of the roles and they had the actors play them as kids, I guess not all of the actors could do the kid voices. So they had to make sure that they could do them as a kid. So yeah, that's why some of the actors aren't in the Total Dramarama, I guess, right? I think it's harder for people, I guess, who have deeper voices, and I don't have a deep voice. So.
That's so cool. Like, if you don't mind me asking, like a side question, do you prefer older Sugar or younger Sugar?
You know what? I can't say. They're both very similar.
Yeah.
One just has a slightly deeper voice, but they're both so much fun to play. Like they're nasty, but they don't think they're nasty necessarily all the time. You know, like in her mind, she's a good person, I think. You know, everybody else is wrong if they don't think so. You know? So I kind of love her. I really do. I've always loved playing villains, which is funny because I don't think in life I've ever been much of a rebel or a villain. So I don't think my friends would expect that I would be playing the villain. So yeah.
That's cool. Wow. Now, what made you want to become a voice actress and actress? And who is your biggest inspiration for voice acting? Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Oh, you know, I've wanted to get into voice acting. When I started acting, I kind of fell into it because I was an improviser and I did comedy and I did sketch comedy. And that led to writing comedy, and that led to teaching comedy, and that led to acting. And it all led to so many avenues that I took. And then I remember I think it was my second agent. She set me up for a voice audition, and I went, "Oh, I do that?" She was like, "Yeah, we do them here." And I go, "Oh." She goes, "Don't worry." She said, "Just show up there. They're going to give you a piece of paper. You read what's on it and act like you know what you're doing, and don't tell them it's your first one." And I was like, "Oh." And I showed up like a half hour early, and I got the script and I marked it up and I practiced it. And I went in and I read it, and I'd never been in a booth before, but I had to pretend like I'd been there before and I knew what I was doing. I didn't. I remember the technician saying, you need to get more on the mic. And then you had to tell me, now you need to get a little off the mic. And I was like, oh, I guess that means this. So it was a trial and error. But as I started doing voice, I started getting jobs, and I did a lot of like voiceovers for radio and TV commercials. And then I met a friend who was doing animation. I go, oh my God, that would be so much fun, because I'm an improviser. And I was teaching character classes at Second City. And I was like, this is something that I think I'd be really good at. And so I asked my agent about it. And I remember being told, not just by my agent, like she was like, yes, absolutely. But she said that it's really a hard business to break into, because they tend to always use the same people. And it's true. And everybody I talk to who's ever wanted to get into it says the same thing, you know. And so I tried for a long time, and, you know, I'd get put on hold for it, you know, but it took a long time. And then I scored, I did a few like small ones, but my first real role was Sugar, and I was over the moon. I remember going in for the audition, and they gave me the script there. And usually you get the script the night before, so you can go over it and you can look at it and you can come up with ideas and work it through. But because it was at this point, I think between me and another actor, it was a callback. They gave us the script, told us to go off and read it and come back and do it. And it was a song. There was a song in there. And I think I was very lucky that I had my improv chops, because even though they gave us this song, I had no music. I didn't know the tune. I didn't know the music, nothing. I had to kind of make it up. And I did. And the way I ended up doing it is exactly how they had me do it for the episode when I got it. Because they said, yeah, that was great. That works. So I was like, okay. So the very first time they show Sugar, when she comes out and she sings the song for her commercial, that was just my improv. You know, they put the music in afterwards. So, and I just remember thinking, because I'm not a singer, I love karaoke, love it. I can sing with my whole heart, but that doesn't mean I sing well, but I love it. And that's how Sugar sings. Sugar sings with her whole heart, and she thinks she's awesome and she loves it, but she's not necessarily that great. So it was kind of perfect. I just tried to sing it like all confidence and maybe not as much talent.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, I know you're very talented, Rochelle.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Second City, you said?
Yeah.
One of my friends that was in, you know, Total Drama actually was like I think in Second City, Peter Oldring. You're probably familiar with his work.
Yes, Peter Oldring and I were in the Second City touring company together in Toronto.
He's another Total Drama alumni that I interviewed, so that's why I figured I mentioned that. Sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think a lot of people who do voice work, not all of them, but a lot of them have an improv background. And probably a lot of them have a Second City background in some way too. Because I think improv is so good for acting and for just so many things, right? And I don't think I'd be acting today if I didn't take improv, because I didn't have the confidence. But improv, I think, helped me be more confident about things like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
You have to be confident, because I remember one of my friends saying to me, I go for auditions, you know, I'd have like 3 auditions that week, and they knew I was like going for these auditions, and they're not actors, and they'd be like, so did you hear yet? And I go, no. And they go, and the next day they go, did you hear yet? And I go, no. I said, I don't know. I might never hear, because you go for an audition, you're up against maybe 30 other people, maybe more, maybe less. And you sometimes get a call just to say you get us a call back or you got the part. And it's very rare. So you just kind of go, do your best, and then you forget about it. That's kind of what you have to do. And they're like, oh my God, that's so much rejection. How do you take it? And I'm like, then it made me go, oh my God, you're right. How do I take all this rejection? But I think there's a good life lesson learned there. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's just the way it is, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean you're not talented. It's just sometimes they're looking for something. my very first TV commercial I got, I think they hired me because I had the right hair.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never. Wow. Okay. Wow. now,
Yeah.
now, what's your favorite voice acting role you portrayed? And can you do the voice of your favorite? What you do?
Oh gosh. I don't know. You know, I don't have a favorite. I really love broad characters.
Okay.
So, you know, I love all the Looney Tunes characters and stuff. But I've never been followed anyone like they're a hero. But there's a lot of women in Toronto that I know, like Stacey DePass. I love her characters. She does great stuff. Megan Fallenbach, amazing. You know, I'm trying to, Linda Valentine, amazing. You know, there's just all these other women that I know that do voice work, and I see them at auditions, and, you know, sometimes I hear their voices when they play it back later. I'm like, oh, they're so good. So I don't really have a favorite person, but I feel surrounded. I feel like when I listen to other people's demos, I'm just blown away. There's just so much talent in people who do voice work, and I'm just blown away by what they can do. And Sunday Muse, huge fan. I can't forget her. She's amazing.
That's really cool. Now, if you don't mind, for the viewers, and you did some of it for me off podcast, can you do Sugar's voice and younger Sugar? If you don't mind, Rochelle?
Oh, they're probably just different. Okay, let me try this. What do you think you're doing there with my grease pig? You put him down, or I'm gonna make you pay for it. All right. You better put that grease pig down right now, or I'm gonna make you pay for it. Now.
That's so. I'm sorry. That's so cool. You understand? Like a total drama is my favorite show of all time, Rochelle, and that's total drama is like a big part of my childhood. So when you do that, Rochelle, oh my god, yeah. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, when I am practicing scripts here at home, my family's not quite as appreciative. Can you imagine me walking around preparing for a record the next day, and I'm like, "Hey, fuck you are!" Blah 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 blah. My husband's like on a phone call, and my kids are like watching TV, and they're just like, "Yeah, this isn't cool."
I love.
There are people out there who think this is cool. So
I love total drama. Like, oh my god, like all the seasons. This is, in my opinion, a well-created show. So,
you know, before I met my husband, when I was a single woman in Toronto, actress, living downtown, I watched a lot of animation because that's when I decided I wanted to get into animation. And my two favorite shows were Total Drama and Avatar, The Last Airbender.
okay.
And when I met my husband, who was a widower, so he had two daughters. So when I married him, I became a mom. So I have two daughters who are when they were, I think, 6 and 8 when we got married, and I brought those shows into the house. And it's like, because we'd watch TV together, and I thought, these are great shows to watch, right? And they loved them, and even my husband loved them. So it was these perfect shows, and we just watched all the seasons. And even now, like my son, who's much younger, he watches them too, and they've watched them more than once. So they've had an impact in our household for sure.
That's,
you know.
I don't know if you knew too, which I'll help you out for your kids if they want to watch more of it. It's on you. The whole series is on YouTube for free. It's on Netflix. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. And I think it's going to the UK now. I think they have it going to the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Expanding, worldwide, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're having new seasons come out, right, for Total Drama, and that's because of the UK people. I think purchased that. I don't know how it works. I'm not going to claim to know what I'm talking about, but it's just great. I think it's great, and I hope that they do another season of Total Drama Rama eventually, because they haven't said that they're not, but they haven't said that they will. So maybe they're just waiting to see. But I would love it if they did.
Bring Sugar back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
Wow.
I love her.
If you don't mind me asking, why did you get replaced by you said you weren't her, but why did you get replaced as the voice of Courtney? Remember?
Yeah. So you asked me about replacing Courtney, and I said I didn't, because I didn't know that people thought that. But I did not replace the voice of Courtney. But I suggested that if people think that happened, they may be getting me mixed up with Rachel Wilson, who is another voice actress here in Toronto, who I know, and I have no problem being confused with. She's lovely. We see each other at auditions and we're like, hey, Rochelle. She go, hey, Rachel. But she, it could be her, because I know she did a character at the same season, I think, that Sugar came out, and she may have done more. So I don't know. Yeah. And I've seen stuff online where they've confused us. They have like my photo and her name, or vice versa. So people confuse us.
It's so crazy. Like your names are like almost identical. Like even if you change some of the letters around in the first name, but the last name.
I know. I said, well, Rochelle is the French version of Rachel. And I said, it would have been tough, because when you join the union here in Canada, there can only be one, right? And I said, oh, we dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have showed up at auditions. We would have been like this, right? But now we're just friends. It's okay.
Now, can you walk me through the audition process? I think you kind of told me a little bit earlier during the interview of how did you get the role of Sugar. Can you tell me?
Sure. I'll start by saying I have ADHD, and I also have a learning disability. I'm a slow processor, and I have poor working memory. So these are all these labels that I have. So unlike a lot of other voice actors, I have to get there early, and I have to mark my script up. And I find a special way to mark it up that works for me. And it's weird. Like, people would look at it and go, it doesn't make sense. But when I read it off the paper, it makes me read it the way it's easier for me to read it right off the paper. And it's very hard for me to do a cold read until I've done that. So I did that. I showed up for the first audition, and I loved it, because I love doing big characters. I love big characters, and she was big. And I had so much fun, and I walked away. I remember feeling good about it. And then I got a call from my agent, and they said, it's between you and one other actor. And this other actor is somebody I really love and respect a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was kind of like, I'm just going to do the best I can, and I'm going to have fun, and that's it. And I went in, and I was able to stay in that mode of, I'm going to have fun. It's all good. If I don't get it, whatever. But I really wanted it. And they had us do the read through, and then they gave us a new script we'd never seen before, and they sent us off, saying, take 15 minutes. I needed more time because they don't realize that I have to mark up my script. And part of the audition was a song. And I was like, okay, there's no music with the song. There's no rhythm, no beat, nothing. So I just kind of had to make up it all on the spot. But I'm an improviser, so I kind of did that. And I thought, I'm going to sing this the way I sing karaoke, which is like, I love to sing. I'm amazing, but maybe in reality, I'm not. And so when you see Sugar when she's doing her audition tape, or no, the commercial, sorry, where she's talking about, I can't remember. There's a commercial she does. I can't remember what it's called. Ugh. But she falls down and farts at the end. How's that? That song was the improv. And when I got chosen as the actor to play Sugar, they had me come back and do it. And they just had me do the song the exact way I did it for my audition. And then they added the music in later. And I was like, all right, okay. And it's funny because every song I've ever done for Sugar, and even Total Dramarama, they've never put the music in. I've just improvised it, and then they've kind of added it in. And it's just worked out great. So I have a skill. I have a skill. Yeah, so it was really fun. And when I heard I got it, I remember my agent telling me, because I wanted to get an animation part for a while. And she knew, and she called me, and I was like, I said, I'm putting the phone down. I'm going to get up because I got to do a dance. And I put the phone down, and I was like, woo! I come back to my agent, and she goes, I go, oh, I feel so good. She goes, and she's just like, oh, Rochelle, I love you. She goes, you know, some people are like, yeah, thanks. That's great. I'll be there. And she goes, you're like always so excited.
That's
No matter how many parts you get, you're like, oh, you're so excited. And I'm like, I know. So yeah, that was how it all happened. And then for Total Dramarama, I had to audition again because the actors had to audition again, because just because you can do an adult voice doesn't mean you can do a kid voice. So they had to have me audition for my role to make sure that I could pull Sugar off as a kid, which for me, I think was easier than for most, because she's got such a high voice. I have such a high voice. And it worked out really well. And I got to do the 3rd season of Total Dramarama, and it was so much fun. So much. Like, I am telling you, when I get in the booth and I do this character, I just come out and I'm like, ah, I feel powerful and like sassy, and it's amazing. My family's probably like, what's wrong with her? But it's good. So yeah.
wow.
Did that answer your question?
It did. If you wouldn't mind, yeah, I could play like the clip. Do you remember singing as Sugar that song Crap Tree? Do you remember that at all?
I do.
I could
I
play
remember them telling me that was out of all the songs I had to improvise, that one was the toughest, because they said it was a mixture of country and hip hop. Was it? No,
rap.
rap. Sorry, yeah, rap. And I was like, oh, and I thought, well, I can do country. I can do country, no problem. Yeah. But I was like, rap. And I go, I can do rap maybe, and then I was like, oh my God, the two together. And I remember I thought, well, it's hard enough to put those two together, but then they gave me the words to say. And it's sometimes harder if you're not making the words up yourself. I don't know how to explain that, but it's easier sometimes if you're improvising. And it was like putting 3 things together, and I was like, ah! And I remember for that one, we definitely had to stop and let Rochelle's brain breathe a bit when we did it. But when we got it, we eventually got it, you know, and I was like happy. But the director like helped me out with that for sure. There are a few people that were throwing out ideas, because they're also like, how do we make it rappy and country, you know? But and it was so funny when I saw that episode when she comes out, I was like howling. I thought it was so funny, you know. I forget it's me when I watch it. I forget. Oh.
Do you want me to play some? If you don't mind, can you do like a lyric of it, like a little line of it, if I play it? If it's possible.
I can try.
You can try. It doesn't hurt. Okay. It doesn't. Okay. Okay. Let me play it for you. Okay. Okay. I understand it's been years too, so I understand, because it's been years since we recorded. Okay. Let me pull it up. Sorry about that, Rochelle. Sorry. It was just a funny, iconic moment in that season. That's why I wanted it. Because I was like, oh my God. Okay. Loading. Okay. 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 Oh God. Okay. Okay. Is that? Oh, that might be too bright. Let me turn that down a little bit. Sorry about that, Rochelle.
That's
I
all
keep
right.
saying. I keep saying sorry too.
I know it's very Canadian of you. Canadians do apologize a lot. True, we do.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. Oh geez, yeah. Oh God.
Sugar salad, oh wicked sweet. I grab it with a rabbit with a tasty beat. Full like milk from a Jersey cow. I'm the queen of crafts for y'all sugar bow. Sugar holla, sugar salad, go see go. Sugar salad, here to win the go. Sugar holla. Like a talking horse, the truth I speak. Take it, Miss Olympic, and the doll made free. And my trip bid, go witness me for real. I'm gonna win this $1 million bill. Sugar holla.
What do you think?
I don't think I can recreate that.
That was funny. That was funny.
I do remember them now that you're showing it. I remember the high notes at the end.
Oh God.
We recorded those like separately. And then the last one, they go, this one's got to be really high. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I remember that day after recording, my voice was like, I was speaking, I sounded like a different person. Because when you do voice work, sometimes it really does like affect your voice. And oh my gosh, like if I have a lot of screaming, which I hate to say it, but she does scream a lot. If I have episode where I scream a lot, I'll say, can we do the screaming parts first or after? Because I'm afraid it'll change my voice. And they're like, yeah, sure. So, but no, I don't think I can recreate that. But I do remember doing that song.
It's a funny, iconic moment. That's why. Oh my God, that was funny. The whole like scene. I was like, oh my God, what's Sugar do? So.
Oh my God. I would just love it if I love singing with Sugar. I love it when she has to sing. So yeah, I hope I get to play Sugar again. I really do. And I hope I get to sing again as Sugar, because Sugar doesn't have to be really good.
Yeah.
Just has to think she is. Right?
Now, favorite total drama character other than Sugar?
I love Owen. Oh, I love him.
Scott McCord. Sorry.
Yeah. I love Gwen. My daughters loved Gwen. Cool goth girl, right? Loved her. And when they found out that I knew Megan, they're all like,
like what, Mom? Like what?
How do you know her? Like, you're you and she's her. How do you know her? And I'm like, it doesn't matter what. When you have kids, you're not cool anymore. I love Lashana. I love her. And we got to war in Total Dramarama. I think was it the first or second episode? We got to war together a bit when we were fighting over the tiara. I like her. Yeah, I think those are probably my favorite.
Wow. See, when I asked Sunday, she said your character, Sugar, which was a shock because Ella, like your character hated Ella. Do you remember that in Total Drama?
Oh
Sugar?
yeah. Yeah. It was so funny. Actually, I did love Ella too. And this is a funny thing, but I think I love Ella because she was so easy for my character to hate. Like, I love Ella and I love Sunday, but my character hates her. And it was so much fun to have my character hate her. I don't know how to explain that, but it was so fun to play that. And Sunday and I have talked about that, about, just playing around with their characters or something like that, because they're just so funny. Yeah.
Oh. That's cool. Now, this question is actually, remember my little sister actually that drew these pictures for you?
Yes.
She told me to make sure to ask you this question. Do
Okay.
you ship Sugar with Leonard? You know the wizard? Do you remember the wizard guy?
Yeah,
You call-
yeah.
Do you
He's
ship?
wizard. You know, he's smart because he's wizard.
So do you ship Sugar with Leonard? I'm assuming you know what ship what means, or
No.
oh,
What's
do you? That means do you think they would make a good couple? Sugar and Leonard.
Oh, I never thought they'd make a good couple now. I don't know what Sugar was thinking, but I think that she was not very in her right mind at that time. I'm not saying I don't love the wizard, but I don't think they'd be a good couple. You know?
Mhm.
It's funny. There's a part of me that thinks her and Owen would be a good couple.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But boy, she would be the boss in that relationship. But that's the way it's got to be with Sugar, right? She needs someone that she can lord over. Yeah, I think Owen. Sorry, wizard. Sorry.
No, I don't know if you heard, Rochelle. Did you hear about the 2 new seasons of Total Drama that are coming out? On
Yes.
HBO.
Yes, I did. I thought that was amazing. It's exciting, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, that'd be cool. Like I said, like if Sugar came back, like if you came back in one of those seasons, that'd be awesome.
I would love it. For anyone out there who has any influence, I would love it. Yeah. Playing Sugar makes my life better and more fun. Yes. So, Rochelle's happy, everyone's happy.
I like that. We should start the hashtag Bring Back Sugar.
Or when Rochelle's happy, everyone's happy. And then people
Sure.
go, who's Rochelle? Oh my God.
Now, if you were really on an island, Rochelle, what 3 famous people, dead or alive, would you bring with you on your island?
Me or Sugar?
You, Rochelle, yourself.
Me. Ooh. Oh. Oh, this is hard. Oh, Tina Fey.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
She's funny. Yeah, she's funny.
Tina Fey would be great. And Kristen Wiig.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And Carol Burnett.
Ooh.
She's an icon.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are, wow, that's really cool. You really like your comedians, I've noticed. It seems like.
I do. I do. I just grew up, I've always loved comedy. I love laughing. I love making people laugh. And Carol Burnett, when I was really, really young, we used to watch her shows as a family. And my brother and I, and my mom and dad, we'd be laughing so hard, we'd be crying. And I remember thinking, at the time, I kept thinking, and she's a woman, and it's named after her. And I was like, and she's so good. And she deserved all of it. She was amazing. So she had a huge influence, I guess, on me. And then, Kristen Wiig and Tina Fey, they're improvisers, they're actors, they're writers. And I just think they're so talented. Right?
Oh. I actually, believe it or not, had on my interview podcast 3 popular comedian actors, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who?
Okay. You know who Tommy Chung is? Cheech and Chong?
Yes.
Chong.
Oh my God.
I interviewed him. And then I interviewed you who Pete Holmes is. I don't know. Pete Holmes.
Yes.
And do you know who Ben Schwartz is? Do you know who he is? Ben Schwartz?
He's an actor as well. He's a comedic actor, right?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
He was in like Parks and Rec. He was in the Sonic movie as Sonic. So.
Yeah. Yes, I do know. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're not just interviewing Total Drama people.
I like to do a variety. Like I do actors, actresses, voice actresses, musicians, athletes, YouTubers, variety. Like. Oh
my God, it's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, actually, too, a couple of days ago, I actually got to meet in person, too, Ben Schwartz. He was performing out here. Some
Oh,
improv.
really? Like a
Some
stand-up?
improv.
Oh, improv. Okay. Cool.
So it was really cool. It was like, oh my God, so
It's so funny. I'm taking an improv class right now with my husband because I want him to take an improv class, but because, I want him to do it because I think it's amazing. So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this for you, but I'm doing it with him. But so it's a beginner class that I'm taking right now. And it's very weird being in the improv class, but it's fun too, right? Like nobody knows my experience level or anything that's there except the teacher and my husband. And we just don't tell anyone, but it's fun. I've been having fun,
awesome.
Have you ever taken an improv class?
I've taken acting class at my school. I had an acting class, and they had like a lesson or like a I don't know, like a lesson for like a couple of weeks improv.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I tell everyone to take an improv class.
It's fun. It seems like fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Fun. Oh, that's awesome. Now, is there a certain type of role in any movie or TV show or play like you would love to do, like a superhero or a western? Like, is there a role you would love to do?
I think I would like to play the funny best friend sidekick. Yeah. I don't want all the pressure of being the main character, and I don't really care that much about fame. But I love acting and I love playing. And usually the sidekicks are the character actors who I think are funnier and more interesting. So that's who I'd want to be.
Any like a show come to mind like you like that resembles that kind of role that you think of? A show or movie?
Oh. During COVID, I watched all of Superstore.
Ooh.
And all of The Good Place. And I rewatched all of The Office.
Ooh.
And something else I rewatched. But yeah, like any of those would be great. Yeah, like all those characters in all those shows, I'm jealous because it just looks like so much fun what they're doing. So like a sitcom, I guess.
Okay. Wow. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors you have worked with? Do you still keep in touch?
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry about that. Over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors that you have worked with, like people you work with? You still keep in touch?
Some, yeah, I guess some. I came up in the comedy community in Toronto. So when you work in the comedy community in Toronto, it's like it's a community. So you kind of work with everyone, and everyone directs and writes and produces and acts, and everybody kind of knows everybody. However, because I'm older now and I have kids, I'm not as at the core as I used to be. It's almost like, there's always this new up and comers coming up. But yeah, I do. Like I still see people, and my old comedy partner, I was in a comedy duo called the Lolas, and my partner is still one of my best friends. She's now an accountant, though. She's no longer acting. She's an accountant.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We hang out together and stuff, and yeah.
Also, if you noticed, technically, you still keep in touch with Sunday because she was in your season too.
Yes.
Sunday.
Yeah. But she's living in Los Angeles now. But she has promised me that when she comes to Toronto, we're going to get together. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Wow. That's really cool. See, I'm in, Chicago, the Chicago area. That's why
I love Chicago.
Really.
Yeah. My husband used to work half in Toronto and half in Chicago. And it was great. So I got to go visit sometimes, and it's a great city. I love it.
Well, let me know when you guys are in town again. We can take you to a good pizza.
Okay. I will. It seems like nobody travels anymore, though,
Yeah.
For business even. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of that. People are just doing conference calls and things like that.
Yeah. Now, who would you say, Rochelle, is the coolest person that you have worked with? Who's the coolest?
That I've ever worked with?
Yes.
Oh.
Mm.
I would have to say Sue Greenbank, who is now Sue Hennon, who was my former comedy partner. She's probably, I felt like she was probably my best comedy partner I ever worked with. But I also worked with a comedy group called The Stand-Ins, with some gentlemen, Marcel St. Pierre and Ralph McLeod, and Paul Constable and Paul Bates. And we did amazing improv. We did amazing sketch comedy, and we wrote together. And I think in our early days, like, it was pretty amazing, the stuff that we did.
Wow.
Yeah. So they definitely have a really big place in my heart and my creative roots, right? So
That is cool, though.
yeah.
Wow. Now, what director taught you the most? And is there one you would love to work with that you haven't worked with it that you want to work with?
I think my favorite director, I got hired on at Second City by Bob Martin. And I have so much respect for him. And he wasn't my director for long, unfortunately. But when he was there, I loved him. He has the way he approaches things is very much to not just like be in your face comedy, but to kind of always have something that's very grounded in reality. And he really lets you take your time and sometimes do things a little more subtly than some. Like I'd say like he trusts the moment more than some other directors might. When he was on Second City Main Stage, some of the stuff he wrote and that he was in was just amazing. So I think as an actor and a director and a writer, I respect him a lot. And I wish I had gotten to work with him more. But I will never forget that he hired me for Second City. So.
Like that. If you weren't a voice actress, what do you think you would have done as your career instead? What other interests and hobbies do you have besides voice acting and acting?
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm sorry about that. If you weren't a voice actress and actress, what do you think you would have done as a career? And what other interests and hobbies do you have besides voice acting and acting?
You mean if I wasn't a voice actor, what else would I be doing?
Yes. Like, would you be like a nurse, doctor, lawyer? I don't know. So.
I like teaching. I started teaching improv, and I love teaching. So maybe a teacher. Maybe I don't know, somebody maybe who is like a facilitator, like facilitates like group events or something like that. I like working with large groups of people. Like, again, that's very much like a teacher though, I guess. So I guess I would say a teacher. But I think a teacher maybe of acting, like acting or something like that. Something a little different than teaching at school.
I could see you as an acting teacher. I was gonna say I could see that.
Be like, very good. Do that again. I've got it.
Do you have any hobbies? Like, do you draw, write, bike? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I went to school for fine arts, but I don't really do a lot of it anymore, and I wish I did. It's on my checklist. I love karaoke. Did I mention that? I like cycling. I got into cycling over COVID, and I was never really, I hadn't cycled in years. And at some points, I was doing like 50K a day. And
Wow.
it's like, yeah, and it was
Oh,
great. And that sounds like a lot, but it wasn't. I could have gone more. I just ran out of time. But cycling became a real big thing. I love dancing. And during COVID, I used to, just put music on, and I would like use my front room like it was a nightclub.
so yeah, karaoke and dancing. It's like a party.
I know. I'm a party girl. And again, my kids are like, ooh, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I like writing. I used to do much more comedy writing. I've tried to write more recently. Again, things change when you have kids, but I love writing comedy, specifically comedy. And I've started doing some more teaching. So I like, I'm trying to teach some voice to kids, like voiceover to younger children. And I'm putting that together. And I've talked to some people about teaching it at their facility, and also teaching improv as well. So
Wow.
yeah,
You should join Sundays. Teaching out. She teaches. She has like great big voices. I think the name was. If I remember
yeah,
correctly.
yes, yeah.
You
No,
guys
I
should team
know.
up. That'd be cool.
No, well, I actually took the class because I told her I wanted to just kick myself in the butt, and I wanted to redo my demo. And so I took her class, and there were, I think, 3 of us were professional, and the rest were all kind of newbies. But and she said, it doesn't matter what level you're at. She says, if you are looking for coaching rather than, teaching, she goes, we'll coach you and help you out with whatever you need. And that's exactly what I got. She helped me come up with some, new characters, new ideas for my demo, and it was just fun. I got to be honest, it was fun. Just during COVID, to once a week, I got to play, and hang out with some people on Zoom and try out some new characters. Like, how can that not be fun, right? So.
Yeah. Wow. Now, favorite band or artist and type of music? What kind of music do you like, Rochelle?
Oh my gosh.
Miss Karaoke. I'm gonna call you Miss Karaoke.
Well, I guess I really like, hold on, I gotta go on my phone here and see, what have I been listening to? Because it never comes right off the top of my head. I really like, I've been listening to the band Always, the Canadian band,
Okay.
female band. Let's see, go to my library. Artists. Oh, the Beaches. I saw the Beaches. It was my first concert I've seen. Is the Beaches. They're a Toronto band, all female.
Okay.
They opened for the Rolling Stones. They've been doing really well, and I love them. They have so many songs that have become hits, and they're really good musicians. Love them. So the Beaches.
Beach.
And I've been listening to Old Bjork lately. I love that. And there's another band called Metric, which is it's an older Canadian band. It's a female lead singer. And I've listened to all her old stuff, but she has a new album out too that I've been listening to, and I really love it. And Arcade Fire. Arcade Fire is another one. And then when I need to chill out, I've been listening to this Bahamas. He's kind of like a Jack Johnson, kind of a bit. In fact, he's on Jack Johnson's label. and he used to be the bassist, I think, for Feist. But he does his own thing now, and his music's just great. It's really soothing. When you need to just chill, it's great. So,
No. What
was that,
genre?
did I answer the question? Was there another thing?
What genre are those? From us, because I've personally
Huh?
never heard of it. What genre are they? Like rock?
Yeah, I'd say rock. Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of like top 40 music.
Okay.
I've always been like that. So it's, you know, I don't know if they still call it alternative, but I guess alternative maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, like I'm like a big 80s fan. Like I love 80s music.
80s?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
I love the 80s music because those are classics. You know, the 80s back in the day, like the hits, the classics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, 80s I lived through. I know.
Now,
Big hair.
now, what is your favorite sport? Do you like any sports off? Do you have favorite sports and teams?
No,
No.
I'm not a sports fan.
Okay.
No, I like cycling, and I don't watch any sports. Not a sports person.
Happened. Now, favorite food. What's your favorite food?
I love sushi,
Okay.
and I love Mexican food. A
Ooh.
good Mexican food. I love. Yeah.
Now, what is your advice for young kids that want to become a voice actress? What's your advice?
My advice to young voice actors, would be, I guess, like, if you really want to do it, you really got to pursue it. You got to stick with it, and don't be so defeated. Like I said earlier, you know, when you're an actor, you kind of learn to take rejection, and that's the way it is, right? Don't be defeated. Like, always just keep having positive attitude. It doesn't mean you're not good. You got to remember, when you're auditioning, you're up against like how many other people. And the fact that you even got an audition says that you're good, right? Because they don't just call anybody in for an audition, right? And, you know, there's a lot of people that are auditioning as much as you, and you go through periods where you'll get a lot of stuff and then you won't get stuff. It's just the way it is. And I'd say take improv. I tell everyone, take improv. And I would say, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Go out and make mistakes without a net. And if you crash land, then just pick yourself up and be like, all right, I did it. And I think that's a really good piece of advice, because people are so afraid to make mistakes. And if they do, was that wrong? Oh my God, should I be embarrassed? What do people think? Like, who cares? Go in with this attitude of like, I'm just going to go in and like, boom, like whatever, and be like, yeah, and just, and then sashay out of the room, right? So that's what I'd say.
I like that. I like to also add, like, stay humble. Remember where you came from. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get why people get so cocky. I mean, like, stay humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people do. It's funny. I find that when people are younger, you'll meet some cocky actors, but in general, I find they're not. But even like some people I knew who were young were cocky actors. Now they're older. They're not like that. They're not. They grow out of it generally. Hopefully they do.
Would you be willing to come back for a part 2 interview answering some fan submitted questions? Because I'm sure there'll be sugar questions. So would you be willing to come back for a part 2, Rochelle?
Sure, absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Because I'm sure people will say, I have a question for sugar. You know?
Okay. Sure.
Thank you. Well, before I ask you my last question, Rochelle, do you have any questions? Do you have any?
Well, I can't think of anything. Oh, my cursed improv skills. I don't know. I just wanted to know, like, were we both supposed to wear pink today?
I just wore pink because that's what sugar wears, is pink. That's why I wore.
Oh, and I didn't even think about it, and I'm wearing pink. This is bizarre. Something has aligned.
Yeah, things happen for a reason, you know. Right, Rochelle? It's crazy. I try to wear like the same color like the character wears. Like for Sunday, she wears pink too, so I wore pink for her. For sure, she wears pink. Or for Owen, I wore like white. I think if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I try to wear like the same. I try. I don't know. I like total drama. It's like I said, my favorite show of all time. So
Yeah, I hear you. I'm glad. Thank you. I love it too. I'm a fan. So.
welcome. Now, Rochelle, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? Like help link down below in the video description. Anything to help promote for you? Anything you have to...
Sorry, say it again.
I'm sorry. Is there anything you would like to promote and shout out that help link down below in the video description to help you out? Anything? Oh, shout out.
I can't think of anything right now. I
Got
can't
enough?
think of anything.
Wow.
But when my movie of the week comes out, but watch Total Drama Island, the new seasons, for sure. Watch the new Total Drama Island coming out. I'm going to be watching them because I want to see who the new characters are. I'm always like curious, so absolutely.
Well, thank you, Rochelle, for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a great time. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you to Sunday. I want to give her a special thank you too.
Yeah, wherever you are Sunday. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Rochelle.
You too. Okay. Ciao.